Facebook says it's shutting down its facial recognition software feature. Now, the social media giant plans to delete data from more than 1 billion users, citing potential risks when it comes to surveillance and privacy. Still, you can probably expect to see that same technology being used more often in other places that we all go. Today's Eric Glasser joins us live now with that. I bet we don't even know, Eric, all the places that this facial technology is used.
You got that right, Ryan. You know, Facebook may be backing away from the use of this facial recognition technology, but I can tell you that increasingly it's being used for other purposes, especially here in Florida.
It's about 4 seconds.
The use of facial recognition technology is booming, especially among Florida's law enforcement agencies.
You have a picture of a suspect who did a certain crime, and you can compare it and identify who they are.
One of the largest facial recognition databases in the nation is right here in Pinellas County. The FACES program at the Pinellas Sheriff's Office has been collecting public images since 2001. Law enforcement from around Tampa Bay and the nation tap into the system hundreds of times a month, scanning nearly 40 million public images, mostly mugshots and driver's license photos.
The majority of time, the technology is used for comparison purposes to try to identify a specific individual, but sometimes it can scan an entire crowd.
The same type of technology, for example, has been used to identify people involved in the January 6th storming of the U.S. Capitol. Police also ran pictures of protesters gathered during Black Lives Matter demonstrations. The pitfall, say critics, is that it not only raises privacy issues, but tends to have racial biases.
The majority of algorithms finding between 10 and 100 times more false matches for black women than for white men.
Still, applications for the technology are expanding at Tampa International and other airports. U.S. Customs recently launched a facial biometrics program for international arrivals, and U.S. airlines are rapidly adding similar technology for TSA pre-check, strictly voluntary for now.
Our research among U.S. airline passengers show 4 in 5 would share personal or biometric data with an airline they regularly fly to save time.
In short, Facebook may be turning the other cheek when it comes to using facial recognition, but overall use of the technology shows no signs of slowing down.
In fact, according to a recent New York Times report, that database over in Pinellas County sees about 4,600 inquiries every month. That is a large number, and they say that in about 400 cases over the last 7 years, they've had what they consider to be successful outcomes because of it.
It really is fascinating. Eric, thank you. And the discussion around facial recognition is trending right now, but when did it actually start? Let's give you a deeper dive on that. So the earliest date that we can trace it back to is in the 1960s. Pioneers used computers in 1964 to recognize the human face, like the eyes and the mouth. In the 70s, 21 different markers were included to improve accuracy, things like hair color, lip thickness as well. Once the late 80s rolled around, people started applying linear algebra to it as well. This helped create analysis on a gallery of images that led to automatic facial recognition in 1991. So you can see the history there and how it really increased from year to year. Now from there, large research and tech organizations paved the way for creating accessible databases for government and law enforcement agencies. It wasn't until 2010 that Facebook began implementing the facial recognition for its photos. And as a friendly reminder, you probably use facial recognition every day when Apple launched it for iPhone lock screens in 2017.